Director Tim Miller talks about the failure of Terminator Dark Fate. We've got to talk about this. What's up, everybody? Today I'm here to talk about Tim Miller and his, the failure of Terminator Dark Fate. So he's been talking about it. He also revealed that he had some fights with James Cameron. So of course, now the movie bombed. They come with all these stupid excuses to why it failed, which is just right in your face why this was going to fail. First and foremost, you took a character that you made us care, and then you basically took a crap all over this character, and then you gave the story of this character to a female, and then you painted the movie as female empowerment because people are so stupid they're not gonna see the difference. And that is why this movie failed. But they don't seem to see that, you know, they don't seem to understand that, because Hollywood people live in their own bubble and they have no touch with reality or with the real world. Because seriously, if you don't know why this movie failed, I don't know what to say to you. First and foremost, I've already said on 2 RANT reviews pretty much that the problem with this film is not the female-led characters per se. It's not that. It's what they did to the original character in order to make this female be the leader. That is the main problem. And also the other problem with this film is that it encourages people. Oh, this is all about empowerment. You guys, you know, should be on board with this because this is important, people. You know, we need more of this. You know, who cares about storytelling? You know, who cares about the original story? You know, let's just recycle everything and give it to the female because that's what we need right now. Anyways, so first and foremost, now his excuses, you know, Tim Miller's excuses is that he did not have all control over the film, you know. So that's one of the things he said. To me, it doesn't make any sense. First, he was already kind of attacking the fans before the movie even came out, saying that this movie was going to, you know, what did he say? He was going to scare the F out of the internet trolls, the misogynists that don't like female characters. I mean, when has that even happened? You know, there's so many awesome female-led films that made so much money. Clearly, that is not the problem. But no, these people, like I said, they just need to get out of their own bubble. So he said the Terminator Dark Fate director Tim Miller opened up about the movie's disappointment box office in an interview with Kim Master, the editor of Hollywood Reporter. Miller said that he could write a book about why the movie didn't work and that he's processing the flop. I mean, how delusional do you have to be to believe that by, spoiler alert, killing your main character at the very beginning, I mean, you're not Hitchcock, sorry, but not only that, you made sure that we understood that this character was important because in the future he would help humanity. I mean, how can you imagine that killing that character would not affect everybody else? It just doesn't make any sense. Do these people even understand storytelling? I am baffled. He said he couldn't control whether audiences were turned off by past lackluster Terminator sequels. Could as well, which box office experts have suggested is one reason the movie sank. I agree with this reason. I agree that people have been burned many times because the other Terminator films were also pretty disappointing. Even though I even think that Terminator 3 was okay. You know, and it's not supposed to be okay. It's supposed to be awesome. It's supposed to be amazing. It's supposed to be legendary. No, it's not. Terminator Salvation was probably the most innovative of all of them because it goes all the way in the future and shows us a little bit of the future war. But it was also a movie that, you know, that had problem in pacing. They didn't really do a good job in continuing the story. And then you have Genesis, which is kind of a soft reboot, which is also a major, which already shows it's not a good thing. And they already made what John Connor was the villain in that film. It already didn't work. So if John Connor didn't work there, let's just kill him off. Maybe that will work. I mean, I agree. People were being tired of bad films, so perhaps they were turned off. That's one reason. Second, I think, is the marketing of the film that clearly shows we don't care about John Connor anymore. We just care about female empowerment because that's what the story is about. You know, I've already said many times the problem are not the female characters, but the story is really terrible, and especially what they did to Sarah Connor. It's unforgivable, in my opinion. Okay, she was enough. She was awesome. She was, she was one of my heroes until you actually make her be a drunk. That's what she does. She drinks until she passes out. She's also regretting motherhood, because all she was a womb. Not the fact she was not badass because she killed the Terminator. No, because she was the mother of John Connor. All of this stuff is just whatever. And then we have continue here. He also described his disagreement with the producer James Cameron and how he felt obligated to fight for his creative vision. So let's check and see what else is this saying here. Terminator Dark Fate reunited James Cameron, Linda Hamilton, Arnold Schwarzenegger to little fanfare. Since debuting in the theaters earlier this month, Dark Fate has made $235 million worldwide and $185 million production budget, which means it's very bad. It needs to make way more in order to pay for its production. It will most likely top out in the coming weeks. Well, maybe yes, maybe not. I doubt it. Word of mouth is very bad, even though some people, I believe people that are not into the franchise might find that is a fun film, because if you're not into the characters, you might like it. I even thought the action itself was quite entertaining. My biggest issue with the film was what they did to John Connor, and in my opinion, is a disrespect to the franchise, because mainly it's telling you Terminator 1 and 2 doesn't matter. Kylo Reese and whatever, sacrifice he made doesn't matter. John Connor, who care about John Connor? Doesn't matter. Let's just go for it. And that's why I don't like these films, because if this is supposed to be a sequel, why do you have to destroy what came before? Again, same story all over again. It's disappointing result considering it received far better reviews than the previous installments. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Let's go down. The Dark Fate director opened up about the movie's disappointment to the Hollywood Reporter. The things they seemed to hate the most about the movie were things I can't control. I mean, you can't control? I mean, did you have to kill John Connor at the beginning? Miller said, I can't control if you didn't like Genesis or you felt betrayed by T4, I can't help that. So now he's blaming the other films. Okay, so taking all the responsibilities from him. It's not about destroying John Connor. No. But let's continue. Miller also acknowledged that he was at odds with Cameron on some creative choices. Cameron, who directed the first two Terminators, the only Terminators account, returned to the franchise as a producer on Dark Fate. Miller said he felt an obligation to fight for his vision because that is what the director is supposed to do. Miller explained one of those arguments with Cameron in an interview in Business Insider earlier this month. It was the two disagreed on the time travel elements in the movie, and that Miller eventually got his way because Cameron's ideas wouldn't have made sense to the plot. I mean, if he got his way, why is he still blaming Cameron? It still flopped. Miller told Masters that he was unlikely to work with Cameron again, so now he's blaming James Cameron. I'm actually disappointed at James Cameron too, because apparently the idea of killing John Connor came from him. It has nothing to do with whatever trauma I have from the experience, Miller said. It's more that I just don't want to be in a situation again where I don't have control to do what I think is right. Cameron told Deadline in August that Dark Fate could launch a new Terminator trilogy. They've been trying to do that ever since Salvation and then Genesis, and it just doesn't work because Terminator either is not supposed to be a franchise, it's done on Terminator 2, or we need people with more talent, with more creativity to bring the story forward. And it's just baffled me that nobody is able to accomplish that, because all they want to do nowadays, is, kill beloved characters, right? Because, I mean, who didn't love John Connor, that little kid that we followed the journey? He was so important. It was like, the movie keeps you in the edge of your seat. Oh my god, this little boy needs, everything was about saving him because he was very important for the future, and then this movie just comes and boom, erases everything. And wow, we were so baffled that it didn't do well. Why do you think people didn't want to go see it? Well, because it was pretty clear that it was going into that direction. I was actually blind to it. I like to judge things for what they are. I was even willing to go there and see John Connor being killed if it made sense to the story, but for me it didn't. It was basically done at the very beginning of the movie, so he's out of the way. And I think that is very disrespectful. I am actually glad that the movie bombed, so it will stop there and I don't have to consider this as canon. What makes me sad is for Arnie, because I thought he was great, and also Linda Hamilton. I thought both of them had great chemistry. What makes me also sad is for the rest of the people that worked hard in the film. I know how filmmaking is. I know how hard it is, but it is not their fault. The fault is the writers, the people that put this movie together, that again do not have they should have known better, okay? But anyways, guys, I just wanted to talk about Tim Miller and his excuses, because that's what people do in Hollywood. They never assume responsibilities for their mistakes. It's very rare when a director comes forth and say, I messed up, there was the wrong choice. No, we need to blame the audience. We need to, blame someone or blame James Cameron or whatever, because we cannot take responsibilities of whatever failure happens. The same situation with Charlie Angels, right? Didn't Elizabeth Banks just said the man is to blame, because of this culture that man doesn't support female-led characters? That's another, you can check out my other video where I dig into that situation with Elizabeth Banks as well. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that thumbs up, subscribe for more, and I'll see you next time. Bye!